So suppose this is the question that we have. How do we solve it? And how do we solve it quick? Anyone? See? Hmm. Okay, Shivam says in maiden attempt he cleared only with RC by attempting only 32 MCQs. May not happen again. Yes, Shubham, that is one thing. I'm not saying that your quant or your reasoning is bad or your English is very good, but clearing the section just by attempting one of the three topics, it's rare. I mean, glad you did it, but then you will have to, be little more assertive in order to be able to solve questions from the other two as well. Worst case scenario, if what if the RC is going to be a difficult one, right? Okay, so this is how we solve these types of questions very easily, everyone. The ratio of milk and water in three samples is given, right? So we have milk, we have water. How much of milk do we have here? We have 2 units of milk, 1 unit of water. This is our sample one. Sample two, how much of milk and water do we have? We have 3 units of milk, 2 units of water. In sample three, we have 5 and 3. How much total do we have here? Total we have here is 3, here we have is 5, here we have is 8. Right? 2 plus 1, 3 plus 2, 5 plus 3. Now, the next statement says a mixture. What is a mixture? Mixture means when two or more than two things come together. When you mix, you don't mix water and water, right? You mix water and milk. You mix dal and rice. You mix um, sodium with potassium, right? You mix men and women. You mix primary school students with higher secondary school students, right? So mixture comprising equal quantities. It says equal quantities. Do we have equal quantities here? No. One is 3, another is 5, another is 8. So what you are supposed to do is you have to make sure that all three are same. So I'm going to multiply this by 5 into 8. I'm going to multiply next one by 3 into 8. And I multiply the third one by 3 into 5. Such that total is overall same, right? So what we see here is if I multiply 3 by 5 and 8, I will have to multiply 2 and 1 also by 5 and 8. So what you do is you choose one particular constituent. Either you choose milk or you choose water. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose milk. So milk is going to be 2 times, this is 40, right? 2 times 40, so this will be 80. Then I will choose milk. Always choose the same thing, okay? I'm choosing milk every time. This is 3 into 8, 24. So 3 into 24 is 72. Then this is 3 into 5, 15. So 5 into 15 is going to be 75. So what you're supposed to do is you have to add them. So if you add them, this is going to be 227, right? So that means the milk is going to be 227. Option A and D, they are not possible. Now, what is the total overall? This is 3 into 40, which is 120. This is 5 into 24, which is 120. This is 8 into 15, which is 120, obviously. So the total is 360. Now, out of 360, if we have 227 units as milk, the remaining is going to be water. In other words, 227 plus 313, is it 360? Or is it 227 plus 133, which is 360? Which one out of these two remaining options is correct? You will realize that C should be the answer. Now, I have written everything because I had to explain it to you how to go about questions based on ratios. I did not have to write down sample 1. I could have simply written S1 that represents sample 1. Now, these approaches are very, very important. Why? Because you can see that I did not use any variable, did I? Did I write down any equation? No. I converted into a menu type, a menu card where I can see the numbers, I can do the sum, I can multiply it, I can take the difference normally as if the numbers are written, right? Okay. Shubham has it out. Good, Farhad. Uh, Shubham, it will definitely help if one of the sections is, if you are more comfortable and you're very good at it. So obviously that will help because it will help you clear out this overall cutoff, right? Second question. Give this a try. Please remember you have around 2.5 minutes per question on an average. We need to find the ratio, we need to find the number of boys and girls when the ratio is given, right? So boys is going to be a multiple of 11. Is 196 a multiple of 11? I hope you guys are aware how to check if a number is a multiple of 11 or not. If you do not know that, if you have the number 196, you take the alternate digits, add them, then you take the alternate digits. I can't take alternate of the remaining, so this is 9. Then you take the difference. The difference should be a multiple of 11. It is not. So this means it is not a multiple of 11. 202 is not a multiple of 11. 200 is not a multiple of 11. So obviously B. Don't write down equations. Please understand, nobody cares how you get to the answer. Nobody's going to look at your rough sheet if you get an AIR1. How come this guy got AR1? Let's check his worksheet. Nobody cares. Okay. So you need to understand that when we are dealing with ratios, each number, it represents its multiple. So the only number in the table of 11 is 198. Done. Yes, Shubham. Percentage is more important. I mean, not more important as in it is, important to complete the topic percentages before ratio and proportion. Okay, let's look at another problem. So this is how we solve questions based on investment and profit sharing. So if you need profit sharing, what you need to do is you need to multiply the investment and for the duration for which it was invested, obviously. For the duration I did not invest, why am I expecting any return from it? So when you multiply investment and duration, it should result in profit sharing. It's not actually equal to, it's more like directly proportional to. As in, it doesn't give you the exact profit you're going to get, it's going to give you a relative profit that you're going to get. So if I look at A, his investment was 4,500 and the duration was 12 months. If I look at B, his investment was 3,000 and let's say he was there for M months. As per the question, this profit sharing ratio is 3:1. So all you need to do is now simplify this. This is 15 into 2. This is 15 into 3. Then this 3 also goes away. This 2 goes away. And we are left with 6. So M is going to be 6. That means he invested for 6 months, which would mean indirectly that he invested after 6 months because there are 12 months. Please Do read the question very carefully. Each and every word is important here. At the end of the year means 12 months. If any one of you was thinking the number of months for how long A invested is not given, well, it is given. They have not explicitly told you that it's 12 months. That's something you need to understand from the word year, right? Okay. Another one. So there are two ways to solve this. Okay. I'm going to tell you the simplest way. We are given 30 coins, right? So let's say these are those 30 coins. Of course, I cannot draw all 30 of them. I'm going to draw some of them. So these are 30 coins. I need to make 20 rupees out of these, right? 20 rupees. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the coins which have lowest denomination. So 50 paise coins, they have the lowest denomination. So I'm going to assume that each coin is 50 paise. So if I have 30 coins with 50 paise denomination, each of them, how much money do I have? If I have 30 coins, each coin is 50 paise, how many rupees will I have? 15 rupees, right? That means I need to have 5 more rupees. How? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that I will remove this 50 paise coin and I will bring in 1 rupee coin. I will remove this 50 paise coin. I will bring in 1 rupee coin. I'll remove this 50 paise coin. I'll bring in 1 rupee coin and so on. So every time I switch from a 50 to 1 rupee, a 50 paise increment happens. If I want 50 paise increment, then how many increments will take me to 5 rupees? As in 50 paise, how many times becomes 5 rupees? So it's going to be 10. So that means I am going to replace 10 coins out of those 10 coins which showed 50 paise now to 1 rupees. So I've, sorry, I mistakenly erased it. I'll write it down again. So we have 50 paise each coin. Okay, and we have 30 coins. So the total amount right now that we have is going to be 50 paise into 30, which is going to be 15 rupees. Our target is to reach 20 rupees. That means we need to add additional 5 rupees. Now these 5 rupees are going to be added if I change every 50 paise to 1 rupee, right? When I do so, how many such 50 paise coins should I replace with 1 rupee? So 50 paise 10 times will become 5 rupees. So that means I need to replace 10 coins, which means out of 30 coins, if 10 coins are that of 1 rupee, so that means the remaining 20 coins are that of 50 paise as well. Since we are asked how many 1 rupee coins do we have, so we have got 10 of them. Now, this was a visual representation as to what you're supposed to think. Now, I could have solved it without writing anything. 30 coins, each coin 50 paise, so that's 15 rupees. I need to add 5 more rupees for which every 50 paise has to be changed to 1 rupee, thereby increasing the overall value, overall amount by 50 paise. If I keep on doing it, a pair gives me a 1 rupee, so 5 pairs, that is 10 coins, will give me 5 rupees. That means I need to replace 10 50 paise coins to 1 rupee, and that's exactly how many 1 rupee coins I will have. Right? Okay, a question from geometry. So this particular question is going to use two particular very, very simple concept from circles. Okay. So I'll draw two circles so that you can follow it closely. So the first logic is, if I take the center of the circle and if I draw one radius, then if I draw another radius, and then if I join the endpoints of those radii, what kind of triangle do I get? What kind of triangle is OAB? Equilateral, isosceles, right-angled, obtuse, acute, किस तरह का? You will realize that it's going to be an isosceles triangle because two sides, which are OA and OB, they are going to be same because they are radii. That means the angle should be also same there. If I use this logic, the angle here is going to be 15 degrees because these two are same. And because these two are same now, this is going to be 10 degrees. So the overall angle at C that we see is 25. Next, if I have a center of a circle, let's call this as an O, and if I take two random points, let's call it as AB, and if I join these two random points on the circumference towards the side where the center lies, if this is a certain angle, and if I join them at the center, what is the relationship between these two angles? Well, if this is theta, this is going to be 2 theta. So the angle at O is twice the angle we see there. So since we have 25 here, this angle, 50, C option. Right? Okay. Another one. This particular problem. If you pick any two spheres, think of any two balls, any two spheres, tennis ball, golf ball, football, basketball, huge balloon, which is ball shaped, a moon, which is ball shaped. Every single sphere in this world, in this universe, they are similar. Means, if you see a tennis ball and then if you see a cricket ball, they both will look same if I do this. The tennis ball sorry, not tennis, golf ball and cricket ball. So if I watch golf ball closer, it looks larger. And if I take the cricket ball farther away, it will start getting smaller and smaller. Not that the cricket ball is getting smaller because they're farther away from us. So it starts becoming tinier. So we won't be able to distinguish between them. I mean, the radii, they look same, they can change. So when you have any two spheres, any two cubes, any two tetrahedrons, any two regular hexagonal, prisms, and so on and so forth, basically two similar figures. If the radius in the case of spheres, if it is in the ratio A is to B, then area will be in the ratio of A square is to B square. There is no 4, there is no pi, there is no 2, there is no 3. कोई number नहीं है. Simply you need to square it. The volume is going to be that of cubes. There is no pi here. If I change sphere to cubes, the answer doesn't change. Please understand. Okay? So we are told that this is 4 and 9. If this is 4 and 9, so which number square is 4? Oh, 2. Which number square is 9? Oh, 3. If I know A and B, now I can use it to find out the volume. So volume will be 2 cube, which is 8, and 3 cube, which is 27. This is the first understanding. You can see no formula. You don't need the formula. For example, if you have forgotten that the volume of a sphere is it 2 by 3 pi r cube? Is it 4 by 3 pi r cube? Whether it is 1 by 3 pi r cube, doesn't matter. Once this is done, then you need to compare. It is given that the bigger one, which is 27, it's not 27, it's 540. So how many times is that? 27 into 2 is 54, so 20 times. So you should make this also 20 times. 8 into 20, 160, and done. Again, you do not have to write down R1, R2, R1 square, R2 square, R1 cube, R3 cube, R2 cube, sorry. Pi वगैरह कोई नहीं. This is how you solve questions on similar figures. Suppose instead of spheres, if the question was about cubes, answer यही रहेगा. What if it was two cones with the same ratio of base and height? Still the same. Two cylinders with the same ratio of base and radius, as a base radius and height, still the same. Right? Not weird, interesting, and good to know. Right? Correct, Prince. 160. Okay. Permutation and combination now. 4 persons enter the railway train compartment at a station and find 6 seats empty. In how many ways can they take their seat? It's the very first question you will encounter when you are solving, when you are studying permutation and combination में arrangement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the 6 seats, and there are 4 people. Good, Prince. I'll wait for others. The good thing about PNC and probability is if you understand the question, if you know how to solve it, it gets solved within 30-40 seconds after reading the problem. The bad part about PNC is it's not easy to master it. It's not easy to get there where you will be able to solve every single question within 30-40 seconds. Right? It requires a lot of practice, a lot of research. Anyone else? No? So we have got 4 friends. Let's say those friends are A, B, C, and D. Okay. If I ask my first friend how many options does he have, he will say he has got 6 options. So I'll be like, okay, fine, go ahead, sit there. So let's say A chooses this particular chair and he sits there. Then I will go and ask B, how many options does he have? He's like, oh, the chair or the seat where A is sitting, I cannot go and say there is not enough space. So I have got 5 options or 5 seats left. So he goes and sits in one of these 5 seats. Suppose B goes and sits here at the corner rightmost. If I ask C now, how many options does he have? Same logic. He says he has got 4 options. Then if I ask D, he will say he has 3 options. Let's say D sits here. Two seats will be vacant, obviously, because we have less number of people. So this is what you need to solve. This is 12 into 30, which is going to give us a 360 and done. Shubham, almost alternate years. Numbers. We need to find the unit digit in this particular, I shouldn't say product, but powers are products, right? So instead of product, let's write this as the value of. So here is the trick. In case you did not know, because had you known, you would have taken like 10 seconds or something. If you have a number with a digit at the units place and a power of the form 4k plus r, where r cannot be 0, it gives you the same last digit as if it is of the form d to the power r. Okay? This is like the standard scientific geeky way of writing, what the answer or how you should process the solution. What it actually means is you should only pay attention to the last digit, and you should only pay attention to the last two digits of the power. Base ka only last digit is important, everything else is useless. And powers, only the last two digits are important. Had there been only last two digits, great. Had there been only one digit, great. But if you have more than two digits in the power, you need to remove everything from hundreds place onwards. So the question is 7 raised to 73 will end in what? Now, what you need to do is divide 73 by 4 and find out the remainder. As in 73, when divided by 4, what would be the remainder? So this is going to be 18 into 4 is 72, right? Remainder is 1. So 7 to the power 1 के बराबर जो value होती है. 7 to the power 1 is 7. That means this is going to end in 7. 7 to the power 1 will end in 7, 7 to the power 73 ends in 7, 7 to the power 173 ends in 7, 3127 to the power 173 ends in 7. All these values end in 7. Okay, let me give you another example. If you are asked 878 raised to 878 का last digit क्या होएगा? What would be the last digit here? Try. You always divide the power by 4. Not 3, not 2, not 8, 4, and only 4. Good, Prince, good. So, first is 8 and 7 are irrelevant. You only need the last digit. In the power, this 8 is irrelevant. So 8 to the power 78 is same as 8 to the power what? So what you do is you take 78 divided by 4. It will go now 19 times. 19 into 4 is 76. So you will be left with 2. So 8 square. 8 square is a number that ends in 4. 64 ka 4, so it will be 4. Okay? Okay. Remainders ka question. This question is different from the previous one. So I'll tell you the proper process, then I will tell you how to quickly get there. Okay. So initially, Um, when I take 2 and if I divide it by 5, it will go 0 times and the remainder is 2. So we will say 2 when divided by 5 gives us the remainder as 2, which was kind of obvious. When your dividend is less than the divisor, the remainder is the dividend itself, right? Next, I'll take 2 to the power 1 ले लिया, अब 2 square लेते हैं. Now 2 square is 4, right? 4 when divided by 5, obviously it is less, so obviously the remainder will be 4 itself. 2 square when divided by 5, the remainder is 4. Now let's take 2 cube. 2 cube is 8. 8 when divided by 5 it will go once and the remainder is 3. So we will say remainder is 3. You have to be patient because it's a question from numbers topic, and numbers, they follow some pattern. If you know the pattern, great. You'll get the answer very quick. But if you don't know the pattern, what are you going to do? You will try slowly and steadily. You will find the pattern, right? Next, let's take 2 to the power 4, which is 16. When I take 16 and if I divide it by 5, it will go 3 times and I'll get the remainder as 1. So we'll say that the remainder is 1. Next, I will take 2 to the power 5, which is 32. 32 when divided by 5, it will go 6 times and the remainder is 2. So this is same as 2 to the power 5, which is 32 when divided by 5. The remainder is 2, right? It's the same remainder. Next, if I take 2 to the power 6, which is 64, when divided by 5, it will go 12 times and the remainder will be 4. So 2 to the power 6 when divided by 5 also gives us a remainder 4. So if you look at the pattern, the remainders that we are getting over here, it's 2, 4, 3, 1, 2, 4. Next, फिर से 3 आएगा, फिर से 1 आएगा, and this continues. Does this happen in this particular problem? No, it happens in every single problem of remainders that you take into account. The remainders, they repeat. Doesn't matter what's the numerator, doesn't matter what's the denominator, doesn't matter what's the power. Remainders repeat every single time. All you need to do is find out what is the group that repeats. So can I say every 4 powers, they give us the same remainders as the next 4 powers and the next 4 powers and so on? So what you need to do is, can I write 31 as 4 ka multiple? This is coincidence that this problem you're using 4K, previous problem was also using 4K. It's pure coincidence. 4 ka multiple, as in because we have got 4 different answers. This particular thing is called cyclicity, as in how many different answers you can get. That's called cyclicity. 4 into 7 is 28. 28 plus 3. So this 3 tells us, give 1, 2, 3. This is where you need to stop. So this was one way. The other way to solve this particular problem is, think of certain power of 2 such that when that particular total value, when it is divided by 5, it gives us a remainder of 1. 2, 4, 8, 16. So 2 to the power 4 when divided by 5 gives us a remainder of 1. This is something that you are supposed to find out. Now, once you have found out this, what you have to do is you have to pick 2 to the power 31 and write it in terms of powers of 4. So I can go 7 times, that's 28, in plus 3, which is 31 when divided by 5. Now, we already know that this gives us a remainder of 1. Power is 7, keep the 7. 2 cube is 8, so keep the 8. Do the same calculation on remainders, the calculations that are done on the numerators, that is dividend. So remainder will be 1 into 8, which is going to be 8 now. Now the thing is, since we are dividing the number by 5, how come we have a remainder which is more than 5? Which means I need to further divide it. So if I divide remainder 8 by 5, I will further get it as 3. Okay. So instead of checking it one by one like this, you can directly think of a power that should give you a remainder of 1. Remainder 1 ढूंढना होता है, not 2, not 3, not 4, 1 every single time. Shubham, then you have got certain questions that take half an hour and don't look like 2.5 mark question as well. So there will be a mixture of all varieties of questions, right? This one. Percentage question. Depreciation applicable to an equipment is 20%. The value of the equipment 3 years from now will be less by how much? You can say not a single problem was solved using any equation or writing down any variable. First, assume any number. Which one? Nobody cares. So so depreciation, first of all, it means successive decrease, as in the decrease is supposed to happen one after another. So suppose the equipment right now costs 100, so it will depreciate by 20%. So that means it will depreciate by 20 rupees. So it will become now 80. Now it will again depreciate by 20%. Now this 20% will be that of 80 and not that of 100, because the current price of the equipment is not 100 anymore. It's 80 now. So 20% of 80, there will be a depreciation of 16 rupees. So we will be at 64. Again, there will be a depreciation of 20%. So basically, how many times do I have to do this? 3 times. This is the third and the last time. 20% of 64, 10% is 6.4, 20% is 12.8. So there will be decrease of 12.8. So if I subtract this, this is going to give me 51.2. Right? Question asked is, by how much did it decrease? Well, it decreased by 41.8, right? Sorry, not 41, 48.8. My bad. 48.8, 100 minus 51.2. So that becomes your answer. So that is first way. Second way is 20% decrease can also be written as 100% minus 20%. So whenever there is a decrease, let's say if it is X% decrease, you always write it as 100% minus X%. If you had X% increase, you will write that as 100% plus X%. You will always add or subtract to or from 100%. Doesn't matter what question you are dealing with, it's always 100. Then you have whatever is being added or subtracted. So 100 minus 20%, this is going to be 80%, and 80% can be written as 0.8. Why? Because 80% is 80%. 8 by 10, 0.8. Okay? Now, I will be writing 0.8 how many times? 3 times. So write down 0.8, 0.8, and 0.8 and multiply that. This is known as successive. 8 into 8 into 8, 64 into 8 is 512. So you get 0.512. 0.512, if I want to get it back to percentage, this is going to be 51.2%. So if I was at 100%, now I am at 51.2%. So there will be a decrease of 48.8%. This is what it means. Okay, so this was the second way. Third approach. The formula is A plus B plus AB by 100 percentage. Whenever you have to calculate successive percentage change. Here, SPC is the abbreviation for successive percentage change. Since we are looking at 20% decrease, so that would mean A is going to be minus 20. B is also going to be minus 20. So do minus 20 and minus 20. So this is going to be minus 20 plus minus 20 plus minus 20 into minus 20 whole divided by 100 and then percentage outside. If you solve this, this is going to be minus 40. This will become plus 4 percentage. So this is going to be minus 36%. Now, how many times did we take minus 20? We took only twice as of now. We have to take it 3 times. So take this answer and do the same calculation with the third minus 20. So this is going to be minus 36 plus minus 20 plus minus 36 into minus 20 whole divided by 100. You can see that this is more calculating as compared to the previous two approaches. So minus 36 minus 20 is going to be minus 56. And this is going to be plus times and 5. So 7.2. Minus 56 plus 6 is minus 50. And minus 50 plus 1.2 is minus 48.8. So it decreased by 48.8%. Same problem, 3 different ways. Well, is it like this? Only this problem can be solved using either of the 3 ways? No. Whenever you come across any problem which is based on successive percentage change, when I say change, it doesn't matter whether there is an increase or whether there is a decrease. In either case, you can use any of the 3 methods and it will always work. With a little bit of practice, you will realize that one out of first or second is always going to be a better approach than the third one. So if anyone knows the third approach, it's good. If you have two, when you have more than two, the calculation becomes more intensive, right? Okay, go ahead. If you guys have any question, feel free to ask. Regarding as to, what else syllabus do we cover? Um, how much time do we need to complete a particular topic? How much important the formulas are, or anything related to maths and CSAT. Feel free to ask. Don't be shy. No query? Chalo. Thank you, everyone. Please feel free to, if you're watching it from YT, please feel free to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining. I'll see you again very soon with another session. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.